Oh my god.
Hi, guys.
Hi!
Gals.
Gals.
Hey, gals. There's no
Ladies
casual
and
way
gentlemen.
to say
Friends.
like
People.
Friends.
friends. Hi, friends.
Bingers.
Okay, so we're doing another vlog, answering questions with
Yeah.
what's your name? Angela.
Angela, that's
Angela.
my name.
So
I have really bad cramps. Anyway. I'm not ashamed.
You don't need to be ashamed. I wasn't shaming you. I'm
Yeah,
gonna do a
right.
little lightning round to start, just to warm you up. Favorite color,
Green.
favorite animal,
My dog.
favorite movie,
Mean Girls.
favorite TV show,
Our TV show.
favorite brand of gun.
Nerf.
It's good.
Okay.
Favorite director you've worked with.
God, I don't think I've liked any of them.
I guess we'll just move on to the rest of the. What made you get into acting, producing, writing? What made you get into acting? Because that's probably different.
Oh, yeah, it is different. I don't know. I was just always obsessed with it, like ever since I was little. I think it's a similar story for a lot of actors, which is that you grew up kind of like being obsessed with plays, and I would always make my cousins participate in plays. I'm gonna burp. Yeah, it was just like always performing, and I loved the theater. I grew up in the Twin Cities, and they have a really amazing children's theater, the Minneapolis Children's Theater, and I grew up going to see shows there, and I just always was kind of obsessed with it. It was a very dramatic child.
Slouch. I'm trying to teach Angela, like, in my fair lady.
Manners, yeah. Yeah, yours my fair
Yeah.
ladying me.
Yeah.
Pygmalion.
Her
The taming of the shrew.
fair ladying you, yeah.
This is how a person sits.
Were you done with the acting?
No, I was
Oh,
not
I'm
done
sorry.
with the acting. Well, no, I just always loved it. It was what I always daydreamed about, but I never really took it seriously until I had some really excellent mentors in college, and they really believed in me and pushed me to audition for graduate schools. And then when I finally went to grad school, that's when I kind of like made the official, I'm gonna do this thing. Trying to be an actor is kind of a miserable experience because you have zero power, you're waiting on other people to be creative. It feels very selfish a lot of the time because you're focused on like, what do I look like, and what's my type, and how do I get an agent, how do I get this casting director to like me. And for me, it like really fed into all of my insecurities and self-doubts, and I'm like a very obsessive, proactive doer, and so sitting around waiting for opportunities just like didn't suit me.
You're crazy, yeah.
It drove me really, really crazy. It kind of like my frustration with being an out of work actor, like coincided perfectly with getting out of treatment. So I was like in this much healthier place. I had all this brain space free, and I was like, I gotta do something. I gotta take my power back. And that's when Yuri and I started writing this.
It's true.
It's true.
How do you feel about PHP/IOP versus residential IP treatment options?
Oh.
Could you explain what that means?
Yeah, I think every treatment facility has different lingo and different types of programming. The program I went to is called Partial Hospitalization Program. So I was in the treatment center 6 days a week for probably 6-7-ish hours a day. Really intense like that for 2 months, and then the last 2 months I was kind of weaning off and doing less and less so that I wasn't just like, bye, see you later. There are other options like a full-time hospitalization, like inpatient care. You're in the clinic in a treatment facility. Sometimes you'll stay in like a house. They have these like beautiful ranches where you can stay at depending on the different type of facility it is. I think some are a little bit more clinical, a little bit more like hospital. I know that with the program that I did, the PHP clients, there was also an option where you could live in a house with the people. So you would still only be at the center for 7 hours a day, but then you'd go home and you'd still have very structured living and sleeping environments. And I think this was really helpful for people who were really struggling with drug and alcohol abuse, or just intake team felt like they would do better having a little bit more full-time monitoring.
Right, so it probably depends on your...
It depends on your level, the level of care you need. There's also IOP, which is intensive outpatient, and that's the kind of treatment I did first, when I was a sophomore in college or whatever, and that's where you go. I would go in maybe like 3 or 4 days a week for like 3 hours or something, and I would meet with like a therapist, shrink, a nutritionist. I do group therapy, and then there's, you know, just like one-on-one weekly therapy, and you can kind of like adjust the level based on what you need and the kind of like rewiring, that's how I think of it, that you need to kind of get your life back on track. Like I straight up I didn't know how to eat. I felt like I didn't know how to do any of it. So I really needed someone to come in and to like reshape my entire life. So it was really important to me that I was being monitored during the majority of like my daily eating time. That was really key for me. But everyone has, you know, different needs. And then, you know, you throw in the problem of how difficult it is to get insurance and that kind of cover, you know, that's
right.
A whole nother conversation that I'm not an expert on, but that throws a big wrench into a lot of people's recoveries, is what they can afford, what their insurance will cover. It can become really, really challenging.
Do you have any safe foods? Could you talk about your triggers?
My triggers tend to be, and I think it's something that as you go throughout recovery, they change, right? Like for me anyway, they've changed. Right now, my triggers are feeling like I have more on my daily schedule than I can physically accomplish. I start to feel overwhelmed. I start to get kind of panicky. My anxiety starts to flare up. And then instead of managing that anxiety or like saying to one of the people that I have made plans with, like, hey, I actually can't do this, instead of taking care of myself, the impulse will be to engage in activities. And so I'll need to take a moment to like ground myself and come up with a healthier plan of action. When I was first in recovery, big triggers for me were group settings where there was a lot of people.
I thought you were going to say group sex.
Group sex was a huge
just so
trigger.
Many, you don't know what to do.
You don't know what to do.
Yeah,
There's so many people, just so many parts.
Anxiety inducing.
Yeah. Like big group settings, parties. When I was early in my recovery, when I didn't know what kind of food was going to be at any given place, that was really anxiety provoking for me because I couldn't make a plan ahead of time. I think anytime like I get bad news. Justin, what are you laughing at?
What's going on? Are you okay?
Totally unrelated. It's a baby feeding app. You press a button and...
That's awful.
I just wasn't expecting it. That's a serious conversation.
That's
Wow.
pretty good. So eating disorders.
Oh yeah, those.
Speaking of babies being punched in the face. How do you deal with those triggers? Did we get through all of them?
No, I was going to talk about how being sick is a trigger.
Oh yeah, being sick is a trigger.
Don't touch me. Being sick is a trigger for me because one of the ways that I manage my triggers is by like trying to really keep to a schedule. Like there are things that I like to, you know, there's like a morning routine and trying to keep things at least somewhat consistent, which is hard.
Wait, I thought you were going to talk about how being sick is a trigger.
No, I am. I'm going to get there. It's a roundabout. I'm doing a roundabout.
Got it.
So
I feel like we're real loosey-goosey with this. We're a little drunk or something.
a little bit drunk, not
I think
drunk.
not being focused is one of your triggers.
He's not focused.
Yeah.
Don't.
Go ahead.
Having a schedule is helpful. So like when I'm sick and when my routine is thrown off, that's when I start to feel a little bit anxious. And I have to like practice sitting in the discomfort and just being like, you know what? I had to lay in bed all day and drink juice nonstop, and I'm not gonna have that impact how much I eat today, that kind of thing. My mom got really mad at me when I got a juicer for Christmas.
Why?
Because she thought it was gonna trigger my eating disorder.
Because you replace food with juices.
But you should not.
But that's what she's afraid that you would
Yeah.
do. That actually brings me to the next question. Did you have difficulty telling other people in your life about your eating disorder, but specifically your family? Did you face backlash from them?
It's hard to tell anybody about pain that you have. It's hard for me to talk about things that I struggle with or ways in which I am not perfect, which are many.
Yeah.
I think the hardest person to be honest with, this is going to sound so cheesy, but was myself. And the biggest step in my recovery was being honest with myself and seeing my problem for how dangerous and terrible it had become. And telling my family was scary because my eating disorder had gone on for so long. You know, it started when I was like 16, 17, and I finally kind of entered recovery around 27. I was living at home when it first developed, and they noticed really intense shifts in my eating and in my behavior. My friends at school noticed, and so I had people kind of talking to me about it before I really knew it was a problem myself. My mom is a nurse, and she's really supportive and wonderful. It's hard to be clear about all this. It's hard. It was hard. It was hard to tell my family. It was especially hard to tell my family the second time around, because I had gone to treatment my sophomore year of college, and I had kind of been like, yeah, guys, I'm better. Isn't that great? And I wasn't. So I had essentially been lying to my family for a really long time, and I didn't mean it to be a lie. I didn't mean it to be harmful to them in any way. It wasn't something I was actively trying to do. But then having to make the phone call to my mom and be like, hey, guess what I've been doing?
Right. Yeah.
Felt really shitty. I imagine it was really shitty to hear. But I'm lucky in that my family was really supportive, and I was lucky because of Obamacare. Thanks, Obama. He's not dead. I don't know why I looked to heaven. I was lucky enough to be able to still be covered on my parents' insurance. Oh my God.
I'm really loopy in this.
I'm really loopy too. I'm really loopy. So yeah, so I was on my parents' insurance, which is how I got treatment. And my parents were able and willing to help me cover like my daily expenses during the couple of months that I was in treatment and unable to work. And that's not the situation for everyone. I was really lucky, very privileged. I'm like forever thankful because I didn't have to leave LA. I think if I had had to go home for treatment, it would have made it a little bit harder for me because of where I was at emotionally, and I wanted to be able to both recover and continue pursuing my dreams because my recovery was motivated by a desire to be able to create, to have like the brain space and the emotional space to create. That all being said, recovery is more important than really anything else. If you have to uproot your life to do it, do it. I know it seems like you're putting things on hold, and people have reached out and been, have said to me, I'm afraid of putting my life on hold. I'm afraid, I have this coming up. I have the prom coming up. I am supposed to be going off to college. I'm supposed to be doing this, supposed to be doing that. Your life is already on hold. If you are in this death hold of an eating disorder, your life is already on hold. You don't own it anymore. And the best thing you can do for yourself and for your future is to stop everything and focus on yourself. Take the time. I swear, I wish that instead of going to college when I was, 18 and anorexic, if I had taken a semester off and gotten treatment during that semester, that's 8 years I wouldn't have been stuck in my eating disorder. And yeah, I would have been a semester behind, but the amount of time I wouldn't have had to spend like huddled under my dorm staircase crying over a box of pizza. I mean, it's ridiculous. Just do it. Life is longer than it seems right now. If you really focus all of your energy on recovery, you can change your brain really fast, actually. Surprisingly fast. Do whatever you can to do it.
That was really motivational.
Yeah.
It really was.
Thanks. What are you trying?
Shaking your hand.
That's not weird.
Last question for this one. We still have another one coming. Are you guys a couple? This is from...
Gross.
I'm married and...
Not
Angela...
to me.
What? I'm married to an awesome woman.
She is awesome.
And Angela is dating an awesome guy.
True.
Who is me?
Yeah, it's really weird.
We're all dating each other.
We're all dating each other.
But I'm married.
We're all just trying to get in line to actually date Justin.
I was just going to say, but we're all waiting to date Justin. Justin's getting married too.
Justin's getting married. Yay!
So, guys, thank you for watching. Gals.
Don't say guy.
Friends.
Oh!
Thank you for...
Shameless plug.
Oh, are you going to shameless plug?
Yeah. I have a podcast. I have a podcast called Welcome to the Clam Bake.
What's the name about?
It's the opposite of a sausage fest. Those sausages are invited. It's me and my other writing partner that's not Yuri, Lindsay Stidham.
Weirdly, she looks just like me.
Yeah, it's crazy. We explore what it means to be a feminist in 2017. We talk about anxiety. Yuri is not interested in that.
What is funny women?
Funny women?
Yeah, do they write about us?
Yeah, they've heard about us.
Is it this, funnywomen.com?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yuri's not paying attention.
Just
but
keep talking about yourself, Angela.
I will, because I'm a woman and I insist on taking up space in this world. And that is what we explore in Welcome to the Clam Bake. You can find us on Stitcher, iTunes, SoundCloud. Check us out. I'd love to know what you think. So if you're interested, listen, please. Okay.
Also watch Pop-Up, which will have another episode every Thursday, basically, for the next few weeks. It's made by two awesome women.
Yeah.
So
always support funny ladies.
Yeah, funny, awesome women. So that's it. Oh, and subscribe. Keep subscribing.
Subscribe. Oh, there's going to be new merch up in the shop.
Oh, yeah, Angela went crazy last night and made a bunch of
I
bizarre
designed a bunch of
merchandise.
obscene merchandise.
The website will probably pop up here. If we reach 100,000 subscribers...
Justin will have sex with one of you.
Yeah. Thanks, Justin.
I'm happily engaged.
Thanks, friends.